Hi, hope everyone's well, etc. Finally, summer has arrived in the UK. You can see sunshine outside, right? I thought I'd just do a very brief update on the modifications I've made to the 22 bike, what my favourites are. I will show them on my V4R as well, because there's just a tool I want to show you that's been quite convenient and really useful tool. And actually, even when I got it out to this video to demonstrate it, I was like, it's shown me something I've missed, and you'll see that. So here we go. We are going to start with the exhaust. This exhaust is made by a company called Pipeworks here in the UK. So in the UK we have quite stringent noise regs, and you know, I had the under-seat exit with one at the belly pan, and that was always a struggle to get it under noise. And I know people with the Akrapovic, you know, the original sort of one underneath the belly pan down the bottom there, and that really struggles to get under the noise. So in the UK you get 102 decibels at 5,500 revs at a metre away from the exhaust. So anyway, Pipeworks were doing this one, and it's, you know, it just drops it down to one exit, and that's got a lot of benefits, right? So it's one exhaust, so it weighs less. If I have to swap this, which I'll show you, I've got another one swap over, all I've got to do is release this spring and undo that bolt, and I'm out. So mega easy to swap over. And this is a 65mm system, and the other exhaust I've got is a inlet 65. The other one I've got is 50mm. And you can I don't think you can actually really feel a difference on track between them. But you can with the noise, and the other one gets you through. Baffles kill bikes. You want to get away from baffles. Run for the hills if you see a baffle coming towards your exhaust. It's going to kill it. So this is a tool I mentioned. So how many times have you been on your bike and you're like, something doesn't feel quite right, can't put my finger on it? This tool measures your handlebar, so you can see you've got these marks, incremental marks, and then the same on both sides, so you can probably work out what it does. It's got this long pin here, goes up against your clip-on, same on the other side, and you want to make sure those marks are the same. So you can record what your preferred setting is, so if ever you need to change a bar because you crashed your bike or any other reason, whatever, you can then get it back to exactly how you like it. Or if you have two bikes like I do, you can make sure you have exactly the same setup. And when I was fitting this, I took it off this bike, put it on the other one, and it didn't quite fit. And what I've got here is a disparity. So after this video, I'm going to check out my handlebars and straighten them up. So that's a really good tool. All the stuff I have on my bike, apart from a couple of things, I get from motorcycleraceparts.co.uk. Pay for them myself. I'm not paid for this. I do get a discount, but it's not linked to this channel. This is just my stuff. All my, you know, the Spider stuff and Jet Prime and all that I get from them. The phones get from Reactive Parts. And then I'll just show you quickly Pipeworks. I get them direct from Pipeworks. So this is, what's great about Pipeworks is it's a really small British company, so they can do everything to your specification. So this is actually an old exhaust of when I had the underseat and the belly pan exit, and that's why it's all sort of manky and scratched, but they repacked it. Didn't cost me much money. And this one has got the 50mm internal sleeving. You can see it a bit better from this angle. You can see where they've sort of put it inside, and you can see it's longer. That's a 380. Don't know what the other one is. If anyone's interested, I can measure that for you, but there you go. I quite like the look of it, and it's really good value for money. So Pipeworks exhaust, those little handlebar things there. Obviously rear sets and stuff like that, it's all a personal preference, and you know, if you want to go for these sort of clip-ons and switches, they all just make the bike a little bit more robust and a little bit easier to replace things if you have a little crash. So the other thing I'm really loving, which I've probably mentioned before, is Maxton shock. It's brilliant, basically. I've ridden most of the suspension manufacturers. I've had Öhlins, well, the V4R came with Öhlins. I've had it on a BMW before. I've had K-Tech, I've had Bitubo. I've got Mupo on the V4R. So, you know, I've got reasonable, you know, I'm not an expert, you know, it's just a hobby. But this Maxton shock, I'm very impressed by. Of the other shocks, my favourite shock is the Bitubo. It's like the XXF or something. It's their current shock. I had a very early version, and you could just, even against the previous model Bitubo, you could tell the difference on the bike. Like, it just rode smoother, it drove better. It was a really good shock. And when I got this 22 base model bike, you know, I rode it with the shock on it and the stock forks, and I was like, yeah, that shock really is no good, the stock shock. I wanted to go to Maxton, but I really loved that Bitubo shock. And one of the things that really took me towards Maxton is the information they'll share with you or help you with. And you know, you can speak to them, and they'll talk you through problems, or you can talk them through your problems, and they'll provide you with solutions. Really, really great company. Been going for a long time. I think they won the Thai Superbike Championship with the Maxton shock and a V4R. That was another little thing that made me go to them. Obviously, they'll sell internationally, and you know, you can get them serviced pretty much anywhere. I'd have thought it's you know, it's just replacing oil in them and stuff like that. They just unscrew, don't they? And if you needed a service kit for them, before you got the shock serviced, you'd just call them up and ask for a service kit, and then send that along with your shock to your local man, wherever you are. And they build the shock to your specifications. So this one, I had a minimum length of 308 millimeters, and then you go up from there. This is the Preload Adjuster. I'm going to keep this, actually. It's a really simple. When I was speccing my shock, if you've watched some of my old videos and you looked at the Mupo shock, my V4R, I love pneumatic preload adjusters. They look really cool. That's probably the number one priority, to be fair. They look really cool. They're really easy to use. They're really, really accurate, and they're better than hydraulic. But they're a bit hard to get hold of. And what Maxton have is this sort of ring here, and you get, basically it's like a screwdriver with no head, and that fits in these holes here. And then I don't want to pull my bike over, let's double check that. And then you just pull it, or like that, fairly easy, until it goes round. Now you see, I had put a black mark on one of these little channels, and that's so you can do one turn is 1 millimeter. So it's light, it's easy, it's accurate. So I really like that. That's the Maxton shock. I'll straighten that back up in a second. Next thing I really like is these ducks. When I saw these, I just thought they were a gimmick, but I did a track day, rode with them, didn't really notice much difference. I had to put a new front wheel in at lunchtime, so I was like, they're a bit of a faff to put on, so I'm not going to bother with them. And went out first session after lunch and immediately felt a difference in the brakes. You know, it's not going to win you a race or anything, but it does keep the brakes cooler, and I was really impressed. So I bought another set for this bike. And that's really all I've done with this bike, isn't it? It's the exhaust, the shock, brake ducts, fairings, all your little bits of switchgear, and this really handy tool. Oh, this seat as well is pretty good. This is the Ducati race seat. I would have liked to have had a custom one made by raceseats.it, but it's just hard work trying to get the spec to them, blah blah blah. Ducati had this in the shop, and it's an official Ducati part. It's actually made by raceseats.it anyway. You get the race one, it's brilliant. Then that's my little mount for my GoPro for my footage. And actually, I've been surprised how handy these videos have been for me when I watch. I'm watching a lot more of my footage, and I can notice where maybe I'm not using all the revs, or I'm using too many revs, or I'm not coming out the corner with good revs. It's been a really good training tool. So that's kind of where we're at with the modifications. I'm going to get the fairing sprayed. I've mentioned that before. I've got to rewire the light so it doesn't. Basically, everyone I've been racing against this last weekend have been like, your brake light comes on when you brake. So I don't want to be giving away my braking markers, right? Because that's not the idea. So, but otherwise, that's all I need to do. Okay, I've done the Evo 3 upgrade on the software, and I've had the ECU flash. So those two things were worthwhile as well. So that's all the mods I've done to my bike, and I've set a PB on it, which I've not done on the V4R. But to be fair, I spent 2 years, 3,700 miles finding a great setup on the V4R, and then I've just applied it straight onto this bike. So it's not surprising. And I was very close to a PB at Snetterton on the AR. So this is really just continuing that thing. I don't know which bike would ultimately be quicker. There you go. Enjoy. Hope that was useful to some of you.